some other great news, NABE people. Everyone was so focused on the headlines that, focused in on Kim and Kanye and their baby Noah. You might have missed it. This is why we're also celebrating Valentine's Day today. Ladies and gentlemen, it turns out poor kids can learn. I know! I was shocked! When I saw this, I said, oh my goodness! Yes, and here's the other one. Blew people's minds. English language learners are intelligent. Yes. Who would have known? Yes. Hey, and if you've never seen an English language learner all grown up, take a picture. This is what we look like. Hey, let me tell you, en un minuto puedo cambiar este discurso y lo hago todo en español, porque todavía hablo español. No se preocupen, Cuba, Ecuador, Argentina, we're in the house. Y en un momento así, nomás, díganme nomás, and bam, I'm back to English. Look at that. And I write it and read it too. It's amazing what I can do. And here's the conclusion. We're always going to be English language learners. Have you figured that out yet? I discovered this in graduate school. In graduate school, I got sick. In graduate school, my roommate, who did not speak any Spanish, se llamaba Scott, good guy, came in and goes, oye, what's wrong with you, man? You don't look good. I said, it hurts here and here. I need what my mommy used to put on my nose and my chest and my ears. And he looked at me and he said, what is this? I said, it's called Viva Peru. And he looked at me and he said, Viva Peru? Is that something you get from those curanderos? And I said, no, man. Viva Peru is sold at every store. You gotta go get me that. He said, do I gotta go to East LA? I said, no, man. So pobrecito, he took off, came back 2 hours later. Man, I did not find no Viva Peru. But you know what I did find? Vicks Vapor Rub. The lady said this will just be fine. And you know what? You bastard, you made me walk around for 3 hours! Viva Peru, what's wrong with you? And then I get a doctorate. First doctor in the house. I'm trying to convince my parents, Mom, Dad, I can't write prescriptions. But listen to me. I'm the principal at Baldwin Park High School. One of our very articulate English teachers approaches me one day and says, Dr. Cruz, that is a beautiful Argyle sweater that you are wearing. And I said, thank you. Have a good day. Walked in my office, locked the door, closed the blinds, looked up Argyle. I grew up in LA, folks. We don't go around saying, that's a beautiful Argyle. You know what we say? That's a dope diamond sweater, brother. That's what we say. We gotta feel it. In order to learn the language, it's gotta become part of who we are. And guess what? All kids are capable. They can all do it. Now, how do I know this? Is it because I read one of Robert Marzano's weekly books? The man writes a book every week. Right? No, I lived it. I was the principal, proud principal of a school, Baldwin Park High School. And before that, I was the middle school principal at Holland Middle School. And before that, I was an elementary school principal. I've done all three. And I saw some amazing things. Where are the elementary people at? Where you at? Elementary people, you walk the house. Elementary people are you know why we love our job at the elementary? Because when we need therapy, you know what we do? We go out to recess. And kids love you because they love you. Elementary people, great pride in their classroom environment. These people will kill for borders. They love them for borders. It's amazing. Elementary people, very emotional. We're happy. We wear the Sesame Street tie. Right? And then later on we cry. Why? We just wanted to cry. And then they asked me to go to the middle school. I went out at recess. Not the same effect. Middle school people, quite possibly. Where you at, middle school people?
Yeah.
Middle school people, quite possibly one of the hardest jobs in education. You know why? Because those kids that loved you at elementary now hate you. they're going through puberty, you start going through puberty. And we use sarcasm to let them know we love them. They don't get our sarcasm at the middle school level. Teacher, do you love us? Like a baby loves a diaper. Get to class. Then I got to high school. High school where they've never even heard of borders. Not all of you. Look at the high school people. I was liking them up until that point. High school people, where we know everything. Luis, you know why we're in this mess? Because the middle school people didn't do their job. Middle school people. You know why we're in this mess, Luis? Because the elementary people are too happy. They didn't do their job. And watch this. We've never practiced this, but watch this. Elementary people, why are we in this mess? I'll tell you why we're in this mess. We're in the mess because of
parents.
Not even practice. And then you say to the parents, ¿Qué pasó? They say, it was the tequila that one night. Ladies and gentlemen, all kids are capable. And in California, those of you that are Californians, you know what the API is, right? Also known as the Affluent Parent Index. Yes? The API is how we measure growth. And in California, if you haven't heard, we had 5 categories that kids fell into. Advanced, right? Proficient, basic, below basic. And as if there could be anything lower, we came up with far below basic. Everyone else stopped at below basic. We went far below basic. There was talk about going far below basic. But over the years at Baldwin Park High School, a school not known for being an academic school, we were the athletic school. All of a sudden, we had evidence that, hey, our little kids, our cholitos and cholitas and our EOs and all these kids that come to our school, they can learn. And last night at the bar, I got together with the new awesome principal at BP High. And he says, Luis, you got to update your slides, baby, because we're still moving. And let me tell you why this is huge. Because they're moving without the principal having been there. This is not a Hollywood story of how I rode in on a white horse saying, I'm here to save the ELs. This was a group effort. And guess what we learned? Teacher leadership is a big deal in this game. And when teachers have a voice, then great things happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was interesting because, see, in our community, there's another high school. Great high school, great principal, great teachers, but they were known as the academic high school. In fact, every year I would get about 200 requests from kids that were supposed to come to Baldwin Park High School that said, now, we don't want to come to your school, we want to go to the other school. And every year, the API was compared. And they were always killing us on that API. And then something happened. We began to see a change in the culture of our school. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We began to understand that it's not the kids, it's the adults on campus that contribute to a school culture. It's not your clients, it's the people that work there, that live there, that create high expectations. You know what we did every year when our EL data would come in? We were nuts. Here's what we do. We go, hey, oye, mira, the ELs la fregaron otra vez. The ELs did not do good again. And this is what we'd say. Tell me this isn't crazy. This is what we'd say. Oh, man, I hope they get it together this year. As if the ELs are going to call a meeting. Dr. Cruz, can I get on the loudspeaker? I'd like to talk to the other EL students. We got to really do work better this year. We stopped doing that, and we started looking in the mirror. And then one year, what ends up happening is our API gets to that. And people start going, oye, ¿qué pasó? Baldwin Park High School? And the interesting thing is that people were worried about the other high school. And we were like, how about giving us a little bit of love? And then the next year, it really hit the fan. Oh, yeah. And you know what our teachers did? Our teachers learned the George Jefferson walk. Young kids in the audience, Google it. You'll get it later. We're moving on up. And they walk into faculty meetings with an attitude. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey. Look who's moving up And then the next year, Sierra Vista High School took off past us. And we were depressed. And I reminded everybody, we're not competing against another high school. We're competing against poverty. We're competing against low expectations. Applaud what they did because they work with the same kids. There's just a different culture down there, and we need to make sure we emulate that same teacher. Are you with me out there? Yeah. That's what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. And here's the thing. It wasn't just the general population that was doing great. It was also the EL population. We were making gains there too. We had evidence that our kids were learning. But of all the things that made us proud, this was one of them. When we won Baldwin Park High School, if you were ever lower than where they need to be school, when we won the Golden Bell Award in California for having closed the achievement gap with our ELs, we knew we were onto something. We discovered that it couldn't just be done by a principal, by faculty and staff. We spread out. LACO. I had the pleasure of meeting Shelley Spiegel Coleman when I was 21 years old. And she was teaching me about the affective filter back then. And here she is, looking better than me later. Still doing the same thing. You know when we decided to do something revolutionary? We applied what we learned. We actually decided to try some of the things we learned at these kind of conferences. And lo and behold, great things happened, including this, my friends. At Baldwin Park High School, the school known for shootings and fights and kids walking out, all of a sudden the press was talking about, hey, graduates could top record at school. Today, we have a 92% graduation rate. 92%! And let me tell you why we're not doing our graduation.